Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And before moving to content, so please like, share, subscribe to my channel to get more alerts. And so today we'll discuss about the scenario sheet swapping. And okay, let me open this a dashboard, and I'll show you so what is meant by this sheet swapping. And so how do we do that a sheet swapping with parameters. Anyway, so with the help of a tabs, generally we do the sheet swapping so with the parameters. But how do we do with this a sheet swapping with the help of this a tabs? For example, if user select like a report 1, and default it is selected this report 1 only, so you can select report 2. So the sheet, a relevant sheet will appear on the screen itself. And even if I select report 3, the relevant sheet should be appear on the screen itself only. So I'll explain this how do we achieve this a functionality. And so what are the steps needs to be done to achieve this a functionality. Okay, so let's go back to this Tableau application, and here let's connect to this a sample superstore data. And I already have a sample superstore data. And so let's connect to this source, and then I'm using this tabs, orders tabs only. And then go back to this sheet 1. So let me create a first a report. And so I'm going to create a report a reason wise by sales. So let's rename to the sheet reason wise sales, and let's drag this a region into this rows, and drag metric, sales metric into this text. And then so go to a show me option, and then you can choose a pie chart. So generally we aware of this so if you want to represent this a data in the percentage, so we always go for this a pie chart and donut chart. And so that is the reason I have selected this a pie chart here. And so let's create a second a report. This is called a trends. So we can call it as the sales trends. So let's drag this order date here, and then we can change the format to this a month and year. And later on that so you can drag this a sales into this a label. And then so go back to this show me, and you can select this trend chart. So generally trend chart always should be into this a line chart only. Right now, so we can able to see the trend across all the regions. So we can drag this a region into these colors, so that we can segregate this into this region level. Okay, next so go back to this a third report, and here what I'm going to do is so let's create one cross tab data. And so let's drag this category and subcategory. And so yes, so sorry, order date, and you can drag metric into this text. Okay, and then you can change into this labels. Otherwise we can select this the highlighted tables here. So right now we have 3 reports so in our worksheet. And so what I'm going to do is so initially I just want to design tabs. So because we need 3 tabs for 3 charts only. So let me rename this first. And so category comma subcategory wise sales. Okay, and yeah. So what I'm going to do is right. So next I'm going to create a separate, the customized tabs here. So let's create a new sheet here, and then here let's use the customized access here. We can create a 3 tabs in one sheet only. So let's create, so minimum of 1. So this is my one of the access here. Same, you can use the control and again drop it over there, and you can do the same thing. So you can use control and drag it on the rows itself. Now so you can use the control W options to swap, and so you can increase this, you can use the control and down arrow to increase this, like a space. And here there is some white space between this axis over there, right? So let's fix this like a axis here. So the access level should be like 0 to 1, and even so you can change it here for the same thing, like so 0 to 1. And here also. Now so let's hide this access, and I think these are not required, I guess, I believe. So that so I'm going to do is right, I'm going to hide this. Okay, now so now we have like a 3 axis, right? And so what I'm going to do is right, and so I'm going to create a first the parameter. So let's create this like a parameter here. So parameter, so rename the parameter name into this select report. So let's change this data type into this string, and so let's select this list of values only, and here just use report 1. Report 2, report 3. So we have 3 reports here, right? Yeah, and then click on OK. And here, so generally if you want to pass this like a report one, the report 1, so it's our ad hoc calculation. Okay, you can use this like one more ad hoc calculation here. And okay, so you can drag into this second axis into the details under the second axis, and you can drag this like text into this details only. The same thing like so you can drag the customized text here 3. So you can drag it into these details. Now so generally with the help of parameters, and if you want to utilize this, generally we should create a separate calculated field for this support. So what I'm going to do is right, I'm going to create a separate calculation here. So you can name it as like a select report parameter support, and you can use here like a select report one. So this is our parameter here, and the thing is right now later on that, and so please go back to this region by sales, and so initially let's show this like a parameter, and you can add this select a report support calculation to this filter. Now you can select report 1, then click on OK. Let's go back to this, and here also enable that parameter here, and here let's change to this report 2, and then you can drag it into this filter, and you can select report 2. And third one is like the third report. So initially showcase this parameter, and then use into this filters, Oh, sorry. So let me change this. Yep. And then drag into this filters. Now you can select report 3. So initially so let's verify that, I mean, whether the parameter is working fine or not. So right now it is selected report 3. That is the reason the third report is, I mean, like popping up. And in case if I go back to this sales trend, so I cannot see any report here. Even if I go back to this region wise sales, I can see this empty space over there. So the tabs, and now so you can enable these labels here. Okay, and here I can see this, I mean, one only. So what I'm going to do is, right, go back to this, I mean, each axis, and you can drag to these labels. And so let's go back to this 2 and 3. Okay, now so let's rename into these tabs. Okay, so let's go back to this, I mean, dashboard, and I'll show you how to arrange these all the sheets into this one container. Okay, so let's use this, I mean, like a vertical container here, and because so I just want to drop this, I mean, like all the 3 sheets into this, I mean, container. So what I'm going to do is, right, initially let me use this region wise sales, and so there is some limitation in the sheet swapping. So that is the reason initially let's hide this, I mean, headers, and later on that, and we can create a separate, I mean, sheet to showcase this, I mean, like a dynamic change headers only. And then you can add this, I mean, sales trends also, but so you can add it here, and let's hide this, I mean, like a label also here, and then later on this sales subcategory, and let's hide this. Now if you see here, we can play with this, so whether it is properly working or not. And if you see here, so based on this, I mean, selections or sheets are, I mean, like properly, I mean, so it is populating properly. I'm going to create one more, I mean, like a sheet for this dynamic header change. So generally what we are doing, right, so we are simply hiding the report headers, right, so that I'm decided to give a dynamic headers here based on these parameter selections. So here what I'm going to do is, right, let's create this, let's rename this tab name dynamic parameters dynamic header. Okay, let's create a character field here, so you can mention dynamic header. So here you can write this, I mean, condition here. If either you can so use the statement, I mean, either it could be like case or if condition. So okay, I'll go with this, I mean, case condition. Here select reports, it's a parameter support calculation, and so here when report 1, sorry, report 1, then so we can call it as region wise sales. And you can copy this above statement and then duplicate it 3 times. And then use add. And here what I'm going to do is, right, so let's change into this sales trends. Let me replace with this sales trend. And third one, data grid. Okay, so let's drag that, I mean, like a calculated field into this text, and then we'll play around with parameter. So here we can drag this into the text, change it to this entire view, and the format should be like, let's change the header format it should be around 14 and use some bolt and then click on OK. Now so let me enable this parameter and we'll see the headers are changing or not. So the report 1, if I select report 1, I can see the reason by sales. If I select report 2, I can see sales trend. If I select report 3, I can see, oh, so it's not giving anything actually. So there is some problem with this calculation. Let me go back to this calculation, I'll show you. So what is the error here? Okay, I'm sorry. So let me change this report 3. Data grid. Now go back to this dashboard, and so what I'm going to do is so I'll take like one more container over here, and so like again it's a vertical container, the vertical container. So let me add this dynamic header sheet into this container. Let me hide this title also, and later on that you can select this which is being used in the past like a containers, right? You can select all these container, you can drag into this, you can drag this container only. Okay, so one thing you should always remember. So while dragging this like a container, so which all like a reports, 3 reports are being use the container, right? At that time you can make sure that if you selected this the entire container or not. If you select entire container, and then you can drag into this new container only. Okay, here I'm selecting all the container. I'm going to change this, instead of floating, I'll change this to tide like a object only. And now if you see here the data grid, and so because we already selected this like report 3, and if you select report 1, I can change this like a report from 3 to 1 along with this header also. And here what I'm going to do is let's increase this like some space here. You can change this height, and instead of 30 you can make it 40. Okay, and let's add this like a title also, and show title, and here I'm going to give a sheet swapping. And then so we can drag this so you can drag this tab sheet into the dashboard, and you can drag it here only. And let's hide this like sheet title also. Now the final thing is so let me hide this title of this legend also, and let's remove this. It is not required. And even here also you can remove this, the parameter. Yep. And now this is the final step, and right now what I'm going to do is so I'm going to enable these parameter actions here. Let's select this parameter action, and here what I'm going to rise, so I'm going to select a sheet, source sheet, like it's a tab only, and here I'm going to select this like a select report, so one of our parameter. And then so the first report 1, so generally reason by sales, it should be our first report, right? That is the reason I'm going to select this report 1 only. Okay, because even in the calculate field we assign this into the filters, right, as a report 1. So that is the reason I have selected report 1. Okay, and then you can name it as report 1 parameter actions. You can click on OK, and same way you can add a parameter actions for other two also, other two tabs. Let's change, and then select this parameter, and the source sheet is nothing but like report 2, and you can select report 2, and let's add one more like a parameter action. So let's select this source, and then select this like a parameter, and select report 3. Then click on OK. Let's check whether it is so working this parameter or not. So just select this like a report 1. So because it's a default selected, right, so you can select this second one. So now if you see here, the headers are changing dynamically, as well as the sheets also changing dynamically. And even if you select this report 3, here also it is changing. And so I hope you guys are enjoyed this a video. In the next video probably I'll come with this a limitations. So what are the limitations while using this sheet swapping method. And so in the next video definitely I'll come with new things. So what can be done, that means what we can do with these additional things with the help of this parameter actions. So definitely I'll come with this new topic. And thanks for watching, and Jai Hind.